Hello everybody, my name is Shaylene Unilowsky. I am creating this page because I want to start an accountability page. That's what my hopes are. I want to start an accountability page. I want to take ownership of my past, my present, and my future. I want to be able to share my journey along with each and every single one of you that tunes in and wants to have some help, some guidance, some support, have an area where we can potentially network and share real life stories. I have big dreams, but I'm just like, where do I even start? And I know that I need to start right here, right now with you guys. That's for sure, because if you want to build a brand, you need to have a community. And so I'm kind of like, I'm coasting along. I have the education. I've been working towards my real estate license. But first, I want to start off by sharing a little bit about myself, which has been a long journey, you know? I say long, but it's been 31 years. So I'm just like, oh. For me, it's long because I've been walking these streets for 31 years and driving, whatever the case might be. But, you know, especially when you've been on such a roller coaster of emotions and challenges and barriers and just trauma and everything, it just feels like it's like times two, you know? So instead of 31 years, I feel like I've been on this planet for 62 years. And, you know, considering that I've created a really fulfilling life right now, but I do know that where my dreams and my desires and my passion to be of service for my community, I know that I need to be in my power. I need to reclaim it. I need to help my people reclaim their power. I need to help my people reclaim their voice. I need our people to reclaim our land. That's the first and foremost important thing for me. Being on this journey, I feel so isolating. I feel like I'm on this boat alone, you know, trying to figure out how to heal, how to reconnect to spirit, how to reconnect to our land. And I know I'm not the only one. What gives me the power is knowing that I have the Creator on my side. I have my family on my side. I know that I have the ancestors on my side. I know that the knowledge that I've gathered could potentially help somebody else in the situations that I've been through. You know, I'm not any different from anybody else. I'm not saying that, but I know that I've done enough work to sit here and say that I feel like I'm almost holding a huge secret, you know, and I just feel like I've had enough of holding that secret, and I need to like burst out with like start educating people, because it's just like, how can I hold on to all this information and not share it with the people, share it with, you know, just not just indigenous people, but with the world. And I'm just like, where do I start? You know, I've held on to, you know, very limiting beliefs throughout my life, and I just felt like I wasn't, you know, worthy. I felt like I just struggled with so much challenges, traumas, and I just really know that behind all this fear, that there's gonna be so many rewards, I'm going to be helping people, and that gives me the courage to do what I'm doing. It's scary. My heart is trembling. I'm just worried all the time. But I'm like, Shaylene, you've been through so much. And you've been through so much more worse things than this. You've been through worse things than being behind this camera or in front of this camera. You've been homeless at the age of 14, sleeping behind the IKEA in garbage bins and fucking garbage boxes. You wandered the streets on your own, struggling, street kid, and just raised with addictions and just so much. I was independent at a very young age, just trying to survive. I know I'm not the only Indigenous youth, child, that had to sit through that pain, sit through those struggles, sit through that discrimination, and all of these very powerful traumas that just kind of deteriorate your soul and take that spirit away from us. And I'm just I've been through it all, and I'm just it is mind blowing to me. It's mind blowing to me, and I'm just I'm so thankful. There's not a day that goes by where I'm just not grateful. I just remember the pain, and I feel I know how much my people are struggling. I'm gonna work on myself. And when I close my eyes, I can just picture them and picture myself. The pain of not feeling worthy, the pain of addiction, the pain of the lack of support, the lack of acknowledgement, the struggles of addiction, the struggle of homelessness, the struggle of not knowing better, just I felt like I was in this world and I didn't know anything else besides the struggle. I really freaking didn't. Being a young girl, I was I seen people, with beautiful cars, a job, money, just cruising around, but I really didn't think that was for me. I was I felt like I was in a broken system and that I wasn't good enough to get my education. I didn't even see myself getting a high school diploma. I didn't see myself ever getting a driver's license. I didn't see myself ever being good enough to get a job. I felt like I was going to be stuck at working at fast food restaurants and just really dead-end jobs, and nothing against it, but I mean in this world you just cannot survive off that. You can't feed your family off this. You're struggling, and it just felt very disempowering. And I'm just there's so many times where I just felt this is not the life worth living. This is not what I want for myself. And I just noticed in my environment it was extremely toxic. I had my own addiction problems growing up. I started really early in my life, probably like 15, 16 years old, with alcoholism. I had no guidance, no support, nobody telling me school was, gonna school was just not a priority at all. And the way the government was made is they didn't prioritize educating the, they didn't prioritize that, especially in Alberta. They prioritize oil field work. They will pay for you to go to trades, but they'll stop helping you after the age of 18 or 19 or whatever, and you have to start paying for your own education. If you want to get any high school credits, like each credit was like $180, math, science, English. So they really did a good job on making sure like that people like me, people like that are indigenous, suffering from poverty and suffering from their own issues at home, and people that that didn't think that education was for them. And I just knew that in my heart that environment right there was not a place for me or for my family. I didn't see myself thriving, and I really wanted better for myself. I just didn't know how it looked like and how I was going to start. Just sitting in my sorrows. And I just don't know how to explain it, except for I can just feel it, and I can feel it for my people, because it's just like everywhere. Addiction has taken over. There's like liquor stores on every block, right next to daycares, right next to places where they shouldn't be, schools. You can see the homelessness right on the corner, the addiction's right in front of your face. You cannot run away from it. We have such a bad stereotype out there, and it's just like so hard to see myself as anything besides that stereotype, because I didn't know any better. My aunties, uncles, whatever the case may be, my mom, boyfriends, or whatever it is. It all was so prevalent in my right in front of my face, addictions. So I was like, how can I run away from this? It consumed my identity. I really didn't know anything other than my pain. It's generational pain, honestly, because I seen it from my mom, I seen it in my community, and I just started having my own family, and I'm just like still struggling with my addiction problems, and I was just so sick, and I was just like, how can I get this off of me? I need this energy just to be away from me. I need fresh air. I need to breathe in something else other than all of this toxic shit that was happening around me, and I just really needed a fresh start. And so that, to me, at the time, looked like quitting my addictions, which I did. I started kind of like peeling away certain bad things that I seen in my environment. Like it took me cutting off my family, and that was probably the one hugest pain. Like that was like a death. I was extremely sad. I was extremely broken. I was like devastated. I didn't even know what the hell. I was like, okay, this is not how I want to do it, because I felt really, in the beginning of my life, like I always felt like these even after going through everything I was going through, the pain that I was dealt in my life, I always wanted to be there with my family, my sisters, you know, and I'm just like, I always forgave my mom. I always forgave her, you know, and I don't think that relationship benefited me at all. I had to cut that off. And that was like the hardest thing. I suffered greatly. I cried every day, but I was able to pick myself up and remember that, you know what, like there's times where you're gonna have to make these sacrifices in order to better yourself. And for me, that was meaning that I had to cut off everybody. And I know that in that environment that I was in, nothing was benefiting me. The education system wasn't benefiting me. The things, the resources, there was a very much so like nothing. There's a lack of it. There was not barely the friendship center in Alberta was barely making it. There was a ton of like homeless shelters, but it's like it was so full. It was like they had so much people to care for, and I'm just like so young, you know. And when I started going to shelters, I was like 16, 17, 18 years old. And I just felt like at that time that wasn't what I needed. So because I was so busy in my own little world and my own addictions, I was just like, you're not gonna see me there. But I still needed it. I was so shameless. I was just like, whatever. It's not whatever. You know? It's not whatever. I used those resources at that time to shower, to grab some food, to meet up with other people, because that was like where these little spots, like community areas or whatever. I just remember having friends, you know, so-called friends, and like we'd all meet up there or whatever, and we just like talk about the most cringiest things or whatever the case may be. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't want to ramble on about that because it's just like too much. One thing I do know that I did learn from is that everybody had a really good heart. No matter what, the pain that everybody had gone through in their own journey, in their own stories, like we all looked out for each other. Like there's not another place that I've been to where I felt the most heard, the most supported, the most like understood was at these like really horrible places, you know. And then when people now they drive by or hear people talk about these places, it's just like the most disgusting thing, you know. It's just like so judgmental towards these people, and I'm just like, if only you knew if only you knew how incredibly gentle, vulnerable, supportive people these are, then you know. But nobody can sit there and say that unless they've actually been through it themselves. So I was a troublemaker though. I was a freaking troublemaker. I had no guidance, like I said, and I was just out there causing havoc. So that's what that's honestly what can I do about it, you know? What can I do? I learned so much from doing, no, just from fucking up so much, you know, just from all of that shit that I had gone through in my life. I learned so many principles and so many values, so many beliefs that I, till this day, have. It created me to be who I am today. I'm resilient. I'm a visionary. I create so many boundaries around myself and my family to not only protect myself, and I'm really good at that. I'm really, 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 really good at protecting myself these days, because holy shit, like the things that I can go on and ramble about, your mouth will drop to the floor. But I had to learn from these, you know, because if I didn't learn from all of these mistakes, then I would be repeating it. And the creator knows I am not here to repeat none of those mistakes. You know, I desperately told myself, like, I will never repeat the same mistakes as so and so. As hard as it is, and the more I tell myself those things, I'm just like, Are you sure about that, Shaylene? It may look different, it may seem different, it may feel different, but maybe in some ways or another, you are still repeating, you know, certain things about your past. You know, I may not carry the same addictions, but maybe addiction to me now looks a little different. Maybe me scrolling on my phone, that's addiction. Me distracting myself from pain, or numbing myself, like running away, fear, everything. These are traits of me in my past, because even back then, like, I used to run away from relationships. Like, if I see any sense of kind of like love, support, or any of that, I would run away. And even till this day, like, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to my own relationship in my life, like it's my children, my own self, I can catch moments of myself running away, and I'm just like, excuse me. I'm just like, these are the patterns that I grew up with, and it's just so sad. It's so sad. But I'm like, I am taking my power back. I am reclaiming my voice that I freaking hid for so long. I was so scared to speak up for myself. I was so scared to, you know, practice what I preach, which is vulnerability, which is accountability, advocacy, the 7 grandfathers' teachings. All of these things is where what is that word? I kind of like harness my power from all of these little, from all of these like not characteristics, but these things that play such a huge role in my life. Like, this is what gave me the strength to do what I'm doing, and I'm just like so desperately seeking that for everybody else. You know, I'm not here to save anybody else, but I know that if somebody is going to listen to this, and if they can just take 1, 2, 3 things from what I have gone through and my journey, then I've done a successful thing. And for me, how does that look like? You know, I'm just like, where do I even start? And like, da 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 da, like just like everybody else probably on these platforms and trying to like make a brand for themselves. You know, it's like you always hear, oh, what's your niche, or you know, what are you producing, what are your services, and I'm just like, I don't even know. I'm just trying to help people. I'm just trying to be of service. I'm just trying to help people. I'm trying to be as comfortable as possible. That's what they say. Just look comfortable. And trust me, the 100 other videos that I made before this, I was like trying to read from a script that I created. But I'm like, you know what? Screw the script. I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna be, because that's what sells at the end of the day. That's what you're trying to sell, is yourself. I'm trying to build a brand of myself, not what my script is saying, because people are gonna read right through all that. And I'm not doing this for me. And I keep reminding myself that I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. I'm trying to build a legacy here. I really want to see our people reclaim their power. That is my push. That is the reason why I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Every single morning I wake up, I speak intentionally to myself. I love myself. I sing all the time to myself. I'm thankful for my body. I'm thankful for my heart. I'm thankful for the things that the Creator has given me. And I'm just like super grateful. I just let that all flood over me. In the shower, when I'm taking a shower, I'll use my guided meditations, and I just picture, you know, a bright white light just pouring all over me, all my pain, all my suffering, all that generational trauma, whatever kind of baggage that I feel that I need to let go, whatever is coming up for me, I just let it all through the drain. I'm like, goodbye, you're not here. You know, if you want to come back at a later time, and we'll sit through it while I'm journaling or whatever the case may be, because, you know, sometimes it's one of those things that you do eventually need to face. And I've had to face a lot of painful things in my life. And we can talk about that too. I'm gonna be as authentic as possible, and I'm gonna share my story, because I know through my lived experience, there's power in that. Because I'm not the only one that has gone through all of this, and I know that in my story I can help a lot of people. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna help people, and I'm gonna learn from you as much as you're gonna learn from me. It's, you know, it's an exchange of energy. And what else do I got to say? Like I said, I'm in school right now. I'm going to be a real estate salesperson, and I always was, even saying that is kind of like, whew, it's very powerful, because it's like, the only reason I'm really kind of like drawn to do it, because my own experience with housing, you know, being homeless at an early age in my life, and having grown up in low income housing all my life, even till this day, it's not only affected me, but it's affecting my family. It's affecting, you know, a lot of other people, not just in like a negative way, but it feels like very limiting. Like you almost feel like you don't belong a part of society just because you're in low income housing. And, you know, I feel like that I'm not the only one who's suffering, but people are comfortable here too. And like, don't get me wrong, like, kudos for them. If they feel like this is their thing, then so be it. But I just know for myself that I want more for myself. I want more for my family, my the people that want out of this, low income housing or whatever the case may be. I want to be able to share my journey, because I know it's very important, like how I show up for myself, how I take responsibility for educating myself and getting out of this low, I'm saying not too much, but it's true, low income housing, and I that's not something I want to put, because that's not my identity. This is just something that is temporary. I'm not going to not be appreciative, because honestly, if it wasn't for this, then I wouldn't have this, have the capability to save for when I do want to leave. It gives me time to kind of like really just focus on my studies, and like I said, like I'm in school, and I've been in school since 2018, coming from Edmonton, Alberta, moving all the way here to Ottawa, Ontario, where I reside for the past 8 years almost, I think. I'm not doing the math right now, but it's been a long time, and I'm just so grateful, to have these opportunities to be in the situation that I am in, because I know if I was paying full market rent, the stress that I would have to endure would be, I just see other people and how they're stressing, and I'm like I can't complain. I cannot complain, and neither should anybody else, I guess, in my situation. And for me, I just really want more for myself, so I'm just gonna kind of like reflect for a second, because I know I can go ramble on, but like I've seen how colonial systems have failed our people, especially in housing. I'm working towards my real estate license with a powerful vision to bring forward Indigenous-led solutions and make space for our voice in the housing markets and policy tables. This is not just a career for me, this is a calling. I want to be part of the movement that reclaims our role in how homes are built, accessed, and passed down. I believe in collaboration, culture, knowledge, and building systems that empower and not exclude our communities. And that's why it's super important for me to create this platform, this brand for myself, because I know that I'm going to be able to connect to more people. I can't do it all by myself. I need the community to come and join me on this mission. I need other Indigenous folks to come and be on this mission along with me and collaborate and try to, get educated on how the housing market is and housing, and there's just so much to it that, one person is not enough. Like, I need other people to come and be a part of this. And I feel like it's super important to just start by, building this foundation for myself, so that I can eventually go off and, market myself, so that I can get other people to be on the same journey. Not the same journey, but a journey of their own selves. And they can be real estate people, they can be, just however that looks like for them in their journey. I just want to see that. I want to evoke that from them, and I just really I just think there's so much power behind it. Anyways, miigwech. This is just the first video of many. You know, sorry for rambling on. I really wanted just to be as real as possible. I don't want to be no fake, other person out there. I know I'm not sitting here to compare myself. I know this is just my story, and I can't wait to be able to have that opportunity where and the other people are able to share their journey along with me. And so I just want to say, reach out to me. I'm gonna add my social media platforms. You can email me, you can reach out however you would like, but please connect, and I look forward to sharing more of these videos with you. Have a good day. Bye.